Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Josie's Point of View, where we focus on human interest stories throughout the Carolinas. Our story today comes from Fort Bragg, which is in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Take a look at the headline. And it reads, Special Forces Colonel cleared of rape charges by court martial. This story was not on my radar screen for a number of reasons, but one of my viewers expressed an interest in the topic, so I decided to shift focus and bring you the details. I'll provide you with a summary here, and I'll place a link to a few of the full articles in the description box. So the focus of our conversation today is on this soldier. He is Colonel Kevin Russell, a career Army leader who has been the recipient of 4 Bronze Stars. And for those of you who may not know, a Bronze Star is generally awarded for valor or bravery in combat. So it's enough to say that Colonel Russell has an impressive military past. But nonetheless, earlier this year, he was charged with a series of rape and sexual assault charges that fell under Article 120 of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. And just to clarify a little bit further, Article 120 under the Uniform Code of Military Justice broadly defines the criminal offenses of sexual assault, rape, and sexual abuse committed by service members in the United States. This includes physical abuse or threatening to abuse another person with sexual contact, groping, or unwanted sexual advances. And when the charges were first made, a spokesperson for the Special Operations Command did tell the media that Colonel Russell was being charged with sexual assault and abusive sexual contact. So it was in June of this year when Colonel Russell was arraigned on 5 counts of rape and sexual assault, and he pled not guilty to all of the charges. So military court martial was scheduled for August the 25th to listen to the charges and determine his guilt or innocence. But let me tell you, folks, the content of this case is unlike the things the military really wants you to hear. The full list of charges were never made public, but as the trial progressed, some specifics of the case it entered into the public domain, and I was able to gain access to them through my research, and so I'm able to tell you about it. The court martial panel consisted of several colonels and a general officer who listened to the evidence as well as testimony of several witnesses. It was reported that both the colonel and his accuser took the stand and recanted their stories. And here's a summary from the victim's side as reported by the media. The victim was a junior military officer, and it appears that she and Colonel Russell had an ongoing casual sexual relationship, which also included hanging out together because they apparently worked together at the embassy. And somewhere along the way, things became a bit contentious, and then it turned into what was described as a criminal offense. According to reports, the victim told the panel that at some point she wanted to end her sexual relationship with the colonel, but things did not go as planned. However, on the night of June the 15th, and I believe it was 2015, while they were on a trip to Pakistan, she indicated that she was raped by Colonel Russell. She said she had consumed 2 drinks purchased by the colonel while they were at a club. She believed that something had been slipped in the drink because she started feeling dizzy and floating, and that she had bouts of memory loss. The victim said her last memory was leaving the club carrying her shoes, and the next memory after that was the actual sexual assault. Apparently, they were staying at the same residence, and she was supposed to sleep in the guest room. But the victim said that is when the colonel had sex with her against her will. Now, after the alleged sexual assault, the victim continued to work and hang out with the colonel. She also confessed to having had sex with him after that date and even helped to plan his farewell party. So, as the person reading the notes and articles, it was a bit unclear to me as to when the report was made and exactly what prompted her to make a formal complaint. But that's the victim's story or parts of it, and she has a right to make her report when she felt comfortable. But then again, I'm sure there are a lot more to the story that was not made public. Now, the colonel took the stand in his own defense, and as expected, his version of the events were quite different from those of his accuser. Both he and his attorney stated that the victim and the colonel, who was married, by the way, that they were involved in a love triangle and that she regularly had consensual sex with the colonel. They insisted that on the night of the alleged rape, the victim was not intoxicated and that she willingly agreed to have a consensual sexual encounter and voluntarily came into the bedroom and climbed into the colonel's bed. There were also issues about text messages between the two parties that had been deleted from her iPad. And I'm sure there were a lot of issues that were addressed, but they were not mentioned in any of the reports. So, as I previously mentioned, the colonel faced 5 counts of rape and sexual assault, but the published reports seem to have focused primarily on the sexual assault of June 2015 while he was in Pakistan. It would have been interesting to learn about the other charges because if they were not viewed as credible and serious, they never would have been brought before the court martial in the first place. Nonetheless, after several days of listening to all of the evidence, which included testimonies from the accused, the victim, and the witnesses, the members of the military court martial decided to acquit Colonel Russell on all charges. I really had mixed feelings about this one. And I have to tell you, I'm not really surprised by the outcome. Those officers on that court martial probably protected one of their own because had he been found guilty, he would have been dismissed from the service and most likely and he would have lost either all or part of his retirement benefits. So they probably salvaged his military career by throwing him a lifeline and giving him an opportunity to be able to reap the benefits of everything that he had invested in the past 28 years that he had been on in the armed forces. But what I object to most was the character assassination of the victim. Any suggestion that the accuser was lying really just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I really took issue with that. A military officer with a top secret clearance painted as a liar. Well, he was a liar too. You know why? Because he was certainly out there deceiving his wife and his family by his actions. And just because she may have consented to sexual encounters after the alleged rape certainly does not mean the rape did not happen. You may recall recent cases with prominent names, not sure how this one is different. And I'm certainly not going to debate how a victim can still have consensual sex with an individual who she believes or she claims had sexually violated her. It has happened in those cases too. We've heard it all before. But the conclusions of the trial and the decisions by the members of that court martial does not mean they concluded that the colonel who was married, it does not conclude that he had come away from the trial with clean hands. We just don't have all the facts to make that conclusion. And so there are a lot of unanswered questions, so there are gaps in the information. And to avoid sounding prejudicial, I'm going to reserve judgment. But I just have to wonder just how many service members did Colonel Russell discipline and end their military career for committing adultery, just like he had been doing? I'm just wondering. Seems to me the military just filled with hypocrisy and double standards. Do as I say, but certainly not as I do. But for his military career, it's over. If General Officer was on his radar screen, he can forget about that for now. And regardless of his 4 bronze stars and his reputation as a military leader, his career is now defined by the court martial and the rape charges he faced. The last I heard, he was now pursuing retirement. And that's all I have for you right now. Please feel free to leave me a comment below and let me know what you think about the story. And feel free to like and share this video. And if you haven't done so already, I want to invite you to subscribe to my channel by clicking on that red subscribe button on the bottom right hand corner of your screen. And if you click on this notification bell right here, you'll be the first to know whenever a new video is uploaded. I thank you for watching and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.